Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here today with our first Cabral HouseCall of the weekend. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you, and I look forward to answering your questions today here on the show. So if you're new to the show, what we do is every single Saturday and Sunday, we answer our community's questions, a half a dozen each day. And our goal is obviously to work through the questions as quickly as we can. We're typically about 6 weeks behind. Excuse me. So about 6 weeks behind on answering questions, only because obviously they begin to build up in the queue. Today's questions actually kick off from the end of August, about 8/22. So we're on episode 2073 today. If you want to read along with the questions, you can go to stephencabral.com/2073. And today is October 9th. All right. So we're looking at about 6 weeks or so behind, which is, fairly common. All right. Without further ado, let's dive right into the questions for today. So first question is from Rhea. Rhea is asking, hi, Dr. Cabral, can you please provide a point of view on WaveBlock's radiation deflectors for Bluetooth earbuds? While it deflects radiation from the ear and brain, could that be absorbed elsewhere in the process of deflection? I would love to know if you think this is a safe solution. Thank you. All right. So, Rhea, I've actually answered this question, and let's see if we can find it. We'll go to stephencabral.com/podcasts. We have done 2,072 before this, so I know that there'll be some there. And let's just type in AirPods. And then if not, we'll type in earbuds, and we'll see. All right, there we go. So it is on episode 1939, Rhea. Okay, that is my answer there. And I would recommend listening to the whole show. But if you decide not to, I do want to give you your answer. And a lot of these, as you know, as many have seen me do videos, I still wear a wired headset. If you're watching this on video, you can see that. And the reason I do is that right now, the AirPods or earbuds, you can actually deflect a lot of the EMFs and some of the radiation away. But what happens is there's still a magnetic radiation, a magnetic resonance that goes from one to the other through your ears. And of course, your brain is in the middle of that. So I am not interested in that by any stretch of the imagination. And if they get rid of the port on the iPhone, which they plan to do in the next couple of years, and I am forced to either decide to not upgrade my phone or that I have to wear wireless. I'm not going to wear wireless, so I may not upgrade after a certain phone. But of course, you know that you eventually have to. They make you because the phones don't work right? Then there's another choice, and then you can actually have a connected headset. They make them now, where there's a Bluetooth strap that will hang down, and then you could deflect it from there so that it's not going through your ears, because the two connect to each other if not, right? So that's what I would do. I'll share more on that in the future if that comes to be, which I'm sure it will, but luckily we've got a couple of years. All right, let's see. Our next question is from Maelys, and it says, hello, doctor. I discovered your podcast a few months ago, and I listen to you every morning on the way to work. Thank you for sharing this knowledge. Thank you, Maelys. I have Hidradenitis Suppurativa. It's genetic, as my sister's mom and her mom also suffer from it. Do you have any advice? Do you have any help that can help put in remission? I've been very ill for the last year. I'm literally feeling half alive. I found a great GP that diagnosed Candida overgrowth, currently treating it with nilstat. I'm wondering if those two conditions can be linked. Therefore, HS won't be genetic, but symptoms of Candida overgrowth that is transmitted by the mother's vaginal canal at birth. Thank you. Okay. It's a great question. So do keep in mind, again, I believe in genetics. I just don't believe that you have to suffer from these things necessarily. And what I would say is this, is that for those that are unfamiliar, hidradenitis suppurativa is essentially enlarging of the sweat glands, infection of the sweat glands or even nodes in the groin area, armpit area. That's where I've seen it the most. But I do want to let you know that I'm always running the bacteria and parasite stool test when I see that in my practice, as well as the Candida metabolic and vitamins test to look for what actually might be causing a lot of these infections. So that's what I typically do. I would definitely recommend those labs. If you can run the big 5, even plus the bacteria and parasite stool test, I know that's a lot, but that would be amazing. That's what I would do. I would certainly, if you can't run labs, I would certainly do the citricidal plus the CBO protocol. Then I would most likely do the intestinal cleanse, followed by a heavy metal detox. And of course, I would start it with the 21-day detox. That's what I would do. I can't give you medical advice, of course. We're not here to diagnose, treat, or cure any illness over the podcast, but that is where I would start. And 100% I would look for bacterial imbalances as well as Candida overgrowth. Thank you for writing in. Leandro is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I enjoy listening to your podcast and have learned a lot from them. I wanted to ask if you ever tried Magic Spoon cereal and would you recommend it? It's supposed to be a healthy alternative to traditional cereal. All right. I have seen Magic Spoon before. I don't know that it's a healthier alternative. I'm not going to speak negatively at all about the company, but I know it's a high protein cereal. So that's a little bit of a different discussion rather than healthy. I'm not sure that it is organic in any of its ingredients or any way. You could obviously let me know, but I don't believe that it is. I think it's lower in overall like carbohydrates and sugar. Maybe we consider that healthier. So it's obviously less processed carbohydrates, which is great. But I do know that it's made with casein, milk protein, which is not my favorite in terms of digestibility. And I believe there's peanut oil and peanut flour in it, which in terms of digestion and omega-6s is not my favorite either. So again, I'm not speaking negatively about it at all. I've heard it's delicious. It's just not a product that I'm personally going to use because I don't use casein and I don't use peanut flour or peanut-based oils. So that's all. But it could be a fine choice for someone else, just not for me and for what I'm looking to do. Certainly, I'm sure it would be a better choice than Fruity Pebbles with all the artificial colors. No doubt about it. All right. Danielle's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Big fan of yours. I was recently diagnosed with Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism, and have been detoxing my environment. For the past 2 years, I've been working with polymer clay as a hobby. I looked into it recently and into what this non-toxic clay was made out of, and it is a man-made from plastic polyvinyl chloride base. Would you advise staying away from this material as someone with an autoimmune disease? Thank you. That's a great question. That's a really great question. And the answer is I would simply wear latex or non-latex tight-fitting surgical gloves, and so that you can work with the clay, enjoy it. I'm sure it's very stress-reducing and relaxing, so I'd say keep going with it. But yeah, I probably would not touch it to my hands. Your hands are porous. It's going to allow some of that PVC in, potentially. So I would not recommend, obviously, that. But I mean, you'll most likely be completely fine just wearing some surgical gloves that you can buy online, for very inexpensive money. It'd be like a quarter, a pair. So very inexpensive. So that's what I would do. Enjoy your hobby. And again, if you're working on Hashimoto's, just make sure that you've run that stress hormones, mood, and metabolism test, that you've looked at your gut function with either the Candida metabolic and vitamins test or the starter kit, ideally, or even the bacteria and parasite stool test. You want to make sure there's no gut issues. You want to make sure that if you can run the big 5, if not, some of the other labs to figure out what the underlying root causes are. You can find all the labs I recommend that also come with a health coaching call at stevencabral.com/labs. All right, Hillary's up. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I'm a new listener and I'm a huge fan, currently working through the backlog of podcasts. I have a question regarding daily activity. Like many these days, I work from home and I'm currently finishing my Bachelor's of Science in Health and Wellness, then plan to move on to the IHP courses. I'm 44 years old, had my last baby at 38, never been someone that's had trouble with my weight. I'm a kapha body type. very curvy and gain weight evenly everywhere when I put weight on. I've never lost the baby weight. Had my last child, put on a 15 pounds since then, completely due to a sedentary desk job, being tethered to a computer. Needless to say, I have a very hard time getting my 10,000 steps, just not enough hours in the day between work and school and commutes, back and forth, pick up the kids. Do you have any recommendations for how I can get my 10,000 steps in? If they're broken up in chunks, are they still effective? I follow a 14-10 to 16-8 intermittent fasting schedule, 7 days per week. And since hearing your podcast, do not eat after 6 on any given day. I'm very careful in my caloric intake, keeping my total calories right about 1,500. All right. Yes, 100%. Let's get you some help right out of the gates. Now, the first thing that you could do is you could change your seat at work. So in an ideal world, you could be at a standing desk or even on a walking treadmill at your desk at work. That would be the very best. Now, the second best would be sit on a stability ball at work instead of a chair, bounce a little bit, move a little bit. Believe it or not, it all matters. It all counts, right? And then the third part is this. The good news about 10,000 steps is that you're most likely getting 3,000 steps per day, which is what the average sedentary desk working type person gets. So now we need to make up another 7,000 per day. Now, 7,000 steps per day is about an hour to just maybe a little bit more of walking, hour to an hour and 10 minutes, okay? So what could we do? 20 minutes in the morning before work, 20 minutes at lunch, 20 minutes before bed, all of that, or 20 minutes after dinner, all of that could work great. And it's going to help what's called your postprandial glucose level after meals. So it's not going to allow for the spike in glucose, which will be great. And if you want, do a 21-day Eco-Life detox followed by the Fatlocity program while doing the steps, and you're going to be well on your way. There's no doubt about it. That's pretty much the most effective, even if you're not exercising. All right. You can find out more about the detox at stephencabral.com/detox and Fatlocity, of course, stephencabral.com/Fatlocity. All right. I'm happy to do follow-ups as well. Great question. And keep on keeping on for sure. Nicole's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I'm a big fan and super enjoy your podcast. It has really sparked an interest in the field of natural medicine and health, and I hope to be enrolled in your IHP program next year. Thank you, Nicole, and that's great. We hope to have you inside of IHP soon as well. I have a question around napping. I have a newer job where I'm up before 5:30 and working by 6:30. After 8 to 9 hours of working and being stimulated by tons of people and things to do, I feel I absolutely have to lie down. I take great naps between 20 and 30 minutes and feel refreshed. My mind's cleared, and I continue on with my normal evening. I can get overwhelmed and stressed with work, take adrenal soothe daily, 3 to 4 capsules. Was wondering if this is normal and why I need extra sleep at 3 p.m. after early and eventful work days. I go to bed 9:30, 10:30 every night, sleep well. I'm a Pitta Kapha body type, 27 years old. If that adds anything, I've listened to your show on napping and wanted to hear additional thoughts. Thank you. Okay. So here's the deal. If napping does not affect your nighttime sleep and you're getting 8 to 9 hours of I believe, sleep, right? Let's see here. Newer job where I'm up at 5:30 and working by 6:30. Well, so there's a couple things to look at here. So for you, your body might not be ready yet to starting the day that early. It is a lot to start your workday like right out of the gates at 6:30 a.m. So that could be a stressor on your body for sure. But let me just share with you this. If you're getting 8 hours of sleep, 9 hours of sleep every single night, and you need to take a nap at 1 o'clock, at the latest, 2 o'clock at the very, very latest for 20 to 30 minutes, and you feel rejuvenated afterwards, then fantastic. You should do that as long as it doesn't affect your sleep that night. Okay, no doubt about it. Now, other issues that could be is you might have other stressors going on your body that's creating inflammation or stress on your nervous system that then work is just kind of overflowing your rain barrel. So the stressors could be gut issues, food sensitivities that you're eating on a daily basis, mental, emotional based things that you're working through. It could be family-based stress, relationship-based stress, other things on your mind. It could be low nutrient intake, not enough calories in general. You could be maybe doing exercise and all of this. So There are a lot of different factors, but how I always tell people to think about it is you need to think about your life as energy in and energy out. If your work is taking a lot of energy out, what are you doing to bring energy in? And if you're like, well, I go to the gym and then I do this and I do that, I'm like, that's more energy out. So what are you doing to bring energy in? And the energy in would be doing like meditation and hatha yoga. And it would be like things like qigong and a nap and, a sauna would be okay, but you don't want it too stimulating for people trying to bring energy in. What else? Massage, all of these things would be great. So think about all the different things that you can do to calm your nervous system. Adrenal Soothe is great. Full spectrum magnesium is great. Taking any of the sleep health protocols that you need at night can be fine. So all of those things are great. Hopefully this was helpful. And again, you can always write back in if there's follow-up questions. Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate you. I'll be back tomorrow answering more questions from our community. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into today's show. And before you go, hopefully you heard the intro, but if you didn't, we are reserving 500 immunity protocols for our community. That includes our private Facebook group over at cabralsupportgroup.com and our podcast listeners. 500 immunity protocols. They're all valued at $80. Yours completely free on all qualifying orders over at Equalife right now. That means you're going to get your alkalizing vitamin C, 2.5 grams per serving alkalized, which means that's going to be easy on the stomach. You can also get your vitamin D, or you will be getting your vitamin D and your balanced zinc. This is going to allow you to boost your immune system, keep your body healthy and strong this fall and this winter, which is what it's all about. Boost your immune system naturally, keep your body strong, keep your body healthy, follow a good nutrition plan, use your supplements as a safeguard. This is exactly what I do every single day and what I use in my practice. So right now we've reserved 500 of these free immunity protocols with all qualifying orders over at Equalife. And yes, it does ship internationally. Head on over to StephenCabral.com/Equalife. That's EQUILIFE. StephenCabral.com/Equalife for this special offer while supplies last.